David Bowie used this toy synth to write hits 50 years ago. Now it's our turn. The next few minutes are about sampling the good piece, generating different instruments from the samples, and finally building a beat that brings the special sound of the stylophone into today. So what's a stylophone? It's an analog synth with one VCO that outputs something similar to a sawtooth. It's operated using 20 pads and a stylus, which surprisingly works very well. You will find an octave switch and can turn on vibrato. There are no unimportant things like filters, envelopes or even an LFO. There's a built-in speaker. On the bottom you will find a control for tuning the device and the battery compartment. If you want to save the neighbor's nerves, you can connect headphones. If your SP-404 isn't low-fi enough for you, you can use the Stylophone as a speaker via line-in, depending on the version of the Stylophone. I will be using the following Stylophone, a limited edition Bowie model, recognizable by the color and the fact that it says Bowie on it. This is recorded using a microphone, so the sound is influenced by the microphone and speaker. Bowie and Kraftwerk did it that way, so it should be the right way for me too. My everyday instrument is a standard stylophone, recognizable by its black color and the signs of wear. Velcro is a good idea when playing because these things are really light and will slip if you don't hold on to them. I will sample the stylophone as a multi-sample across all 6 sounds, so that 6 banks are used. Since the unstable nature of the VCO is what defines the character, I will do long samples, around half a minute. 6 times 16 samples means 96 samples, and for each sample I plan a few seconds for switching and stuff. With the chosen sample length of half a minute, you should plan on about an hour. Before the sampling begins, the tuning must be checked. It's just a simple analog synth. I deliberately detune the stylophone by 2 half tones, that the samples start at C and not at D, as is usual with this instrument. This ensures that the samples correspond then to the note mapping of the SP-404. The next half hour is spent with the following loop. Press record, then the target pad, 30 seconds of recording, press record again, repeat. It is important to ensure that you apply even pressure with the stylus, otherwise strange background noises and pitch fluctuations may occur. If you recognize this, delete the sample and start over, or consider it as an artistic expression. The starting point of the sample is important, as this determines the timing. The stylophone has an aggressive attack, so that sloppy work is immediately audible. At the end, clean work is less critical. Especially when long samples are used, the end point of the sample is relatively irrelevant. The stylophone sound is now in the box. In order to make complete beats with it, we actually need a lot of other sounds. Drums, bass, FX, pads and leads. The self-imposed rules of the game are that no samples that do not come from the stylophone may be used. Everything the SP-404 can do is included, with X-fold resampling if necessary. Once the sound has been developed, it is saved to a new pad bank. For some sounds we need noise. I create this by simply playing all the pads of a sound together and using an isolator to cut out the tonal part. A hi-hat can be created from the noise. Using an envelope, you carve a closed and an open hi-hat. With the isolator, I go to the noise sample and isolate the low part of the sample. Here, the envelope is not enough. Sounds strange. We can fix this with an effect. A bass drum sounds better if it goes down in tune after the attack, like the downer. A low-pass filter is also helpful. With a 4-beat we can use an effect to apply this to the sample and achieve the desired sound. I get the bass pitching the already low notes down an octave and tastefully edit them with the super filter. The lead sound consists of an original sample along with a +1 octave sample that has been tuned down. In the second sample, the attack is extended so that the click is not audible at the beginning. All the voices are layered for the pad sound, but the attack is significantly different. With a lot of reverb, an atmospheric sound structure is developed. Here's the Stylophone beat as an SP-404 mix. my point of view, you don't necessarily recognize the stylophone, but the overall sound is very unique. I hope that you got a little inspiration to use toys or other things as the core for your beats.